Central Asia, once part of the Soviet Union. It's a region dominated by oil, Islam, and enough radioactive waste to terrify the West. China, Russia, and America are all vying for power here. The countries are strategically vital. And they're all called Stan. Tajikistan, Afghanistan's mountainous northern neighbour, is the poorest and most lawless of the countries in Central Asia. The economy is still reeling after a civil war in the 1990s killed up to 150,000 people. At least 80% of the population live in poverty, and wages in Tajikistan are as low as $5 a month. So it was odd to find top-of-the-range cars on the streets of the capital, Dushanbe. But as my guide Noor explained, an 800-mile border with Afghanistan, the source of 90% of European heroin, has made Tajikistan a major drug transit route. Let's work around. What have we got here? Audi?
Mercedes. That way.
What's that one there?
BMW, Audi, and probably the latest Land Rover.
And there's a Toyota.
Toyota 4 yeah. Almost every car,
Are this all
every
from legitimate work?
Maybe, maybe not.
What do you think?
I don't think that it's legitimate work, legitimate earnings.
I'm just waiting for a Rolls Royce to drive past now. There's no way anybody can really legitimately afford these type of cars. And they have a joke, even the local Tajiks have a joke. They don't say how much was that car, they say how many kilos did it cost. Drug money is really starting to change this place. The main drugs agency in Dushanbe is so strapped for cash, they have just one van for the whole of the city, and the head of the drug squad doubles up as the driver. We're just off on a drugs raid. We've been waiting around the corner while a sting operation was underway, and we think the deal's been done now. We're just racing in with the drug control agency. We believe some drugs have been confiscated, but the raid is still underway, so we're not sure what we're going to find. These raids really are a daily occurrence here in Dushanbe. And it really does bring it home to you, the scale of the problem. And how this really is the source of the heroin, when they're just capturing kilo loads all the time. The sting has produced an unlikely dealer. Following a surveillance operation, the drug squad is searching the flat of a 45-year-old mother of 6 who was trying to sell 1.5 kilos of heroin to an undercover officer. And she admitted that it was heroin almost immediately?
Yes.
But just think, if it's 1.5 kilos worth about possibly $400,000, I mean, that's a sort of unimaginable sum of money here, isn't it? It's not surprising that people are prepared to risk their lives to sell it on, their livelihoods. And how often are you making these sort of drug busts?
What is that? What kilogram?
This amount, about 1 kilogram, is for domestic use. It's not for export. There are fewer small consignments like this one, whilst the number of bigger consignments for export to Europe is increasing.
She knows what's going to happen, doesn't she? Afghan drug producers stamp their mark on packs of heroin, an advert and guarantee of the drug's purity. Why have you taken the risk? Why have you risked everything for this?
I urgently needed money. My husband has left the country to find work in Russia. I was only going to get $100 for
it. Things then get worse for the woman when police discover this is not her first drugs bust.
First time it was for just 100 grams.
So she was given 5 years for 100 grams?
Yes.
And this is maybe 15 times the amount?
Yes. Maybe she'll get Not 5, maybe 10, 15 years for that.
And she has 6 children. You do feel incredible sympathy when you're standing there and she's weeping and she's in her own home. And I suppose the natural urge is, oh, well, you know, poor you. And yeah, poor her. She's going to go away for a long time now. At her age, she might die in prison. But she knows what she's doing. She knows the problems. So they've got addicts in Dushanbe now. They know just what drugs can do. And as the police were quick to tell us, look, you know, she's not quite the innocent she's pointing out. She's got a huge TV. She's done this before. She claims she's only going to get $100 or something for it, but in fact she was probably going to get a lot more money. So she knew the risks. It's just a pathetic waste of life, isn't it? It's a tragedy. A million men have left Tajikistan to find work abroad, and for the women they leave behind there are few options. This carpet factory once employed thousands, but after the economy collapsed, it now runs at just 1/5 of its capacity. Look at this, Will, good British machinery.
Huddersfield.
Sellers of Huddersfield. In a desperate attempt to drum up more business, they're making a new, less traditional type of carpet here. So you can bring your wedding photo here and you can turn it into a carpet.
Exactly, yeah.
Extraordinary.
Over there you can see our president with his family. And over there you can see his picture with his wife.
He doesn't smile much, does he?
Yeah, not really, but here you can see some kind of smile on his face.
It's more like a smirk.
Over there you can see Aga Khan IV with his wife.
Aga Khan?
Yes. President Putin with his wife.
This could really take off. I can see this working.
Yeah.
This one here, the child here seems to be picking its nose.
Yes, you think they might not do an exact copy of the photo?
The cost of preserving these intimate family moments? Upwards of $1,000. In Tajikistan, you have to do whatever you can to eke out a living.
You can call him like celebrity of the city because he's showing his beard here, not only in the center of the city but also in the Central Park. He's showing like this.
Does he make his money out of the bear?
Yeah, he does, but you know, people cannot pay too much, but anyway.
The drug squad wanted to show us the scale of the problem they face. This is their storeroom of recently captured drugs. And to give an example, what's in this package here?
In this packet there is 7.5 kilos of heroin.
In this box alone? So that's a couple of $1 million worth of heroin just in there alone. And what about this one?
151.
All this was taken on one raid. There's 151 kilos.
This is 151 kilos of...
Just one case.
In total, how many kilos of heroin are in this room?
About 500 kilograms.
So half a ton? It's actually a huge amount of drugs. Half a ton of heroin.
500 kilos of heroin. How much is that worth on the streets in London?
Roughly, approximately about $150 million.
That's half the national budget of Tajikistan.
And does it feel strange to you that given that Tajikistan is a relatively poor country, that what you're going to do with this $150 million worth of heroin is set it on fire?
We may be poor, but we're not criminals.
Although we spend billions hunting for heroin in the West, Tajikistan has been given just $9 million by the international community to stem the flow of drugs from Afghanistan. Yet even with limited resources, the Tajiks have seized heroin worth $1.4 billion. So although the they are very professional here, and they've had some good training, and they really are trying to stop the drugs. I mean, no, they haven't got enough money here. They've got $150 million worth of heroin alone in this room, which is protected by a pretty antiquated old system. They need more money here. It's ridiculous.